Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Man United Agenda and Cristiano Ronaldo. As urged, Manchester United fans to be very patient with Eric Ten Hag. Welcome. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Man United Agenda. And it is Friday. And as always, we've got a fantastic panel. On Monday, as always, sir. Hello, how are we doing?
I'm not bad, not bad. Enjoying the weather. It's going to be thunderstorms tomorrow, apparently. So there goes our weekend. I had a picnic arranged and a nice date as well. So gutted.
Oh, you hear that, Jay? And welcome back, Jay, as always.
Thanks for having me, man. It's always good. You know what? I'm glad to get away from the bunting, the parties and all that. It's not for me. So I'd rather be here chatting about football and none of that other nonsense.
Brilliant. And we can also talk to on Monday and find out what date he's got, because apparently he had a date, but he cancelled it. Was it you cancel it or was it?
Well, we got a date, and the date was to go for a picnic outside, and she went and got a pop-up tent as well, just in case of the weather, because we've been looking at the weather forecast all week. But then today we've looked at the weather forecast, the same thunderstorms and all that. So if you hear of any sort of a dreadlock guy getting run over or attacked by a deer or something, or lost in the woods, that could be me. I'll be wearing my Man United Agenda top, so.
I'd say what though,
it's still on.
That's impressive. You've got a pop-up tent. That's that's going an extra mile there, man. You want to keep hold of her.
She's a winner.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah. No,
not about trying to put up a tent in front of your lady friend. Not about them ones. Like, do you know what I mean? Getting confused. That's why a pop-up tent's the best way.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, guys, it is brilliant to be back. And well, I can't remember last time. Jay, when was the last time?
Is this the first time just the three of us have done this? This feels like the original time I did it.
Yeah, I think it could have been. Yeah, I believe
the first time I did it was us three. I might be wrong.
No, 100% it was. It was originally just us three.
And then other people started getting involved, like Mr. B and all them lot started, you know what I mean? Like ruining it.
No comment, Mr. B.
There's a saying, two's company, three's a crowd.
Three's better.
And which one of us is the odd man out, I think it's you, Jay.
Is it me? Is that how we're going already? Hey, say you what? No, I knew it when he started messaging me and calling me Joe. I knew you didn't want me on this channel. I'm a big fan of your channel, Joe.
Oh, absolutely.
It was Joe Motto.
Joe Motto. We love you. I watch you all the time, Joe. Can you come on? I thought this guy's he's either the funniest guy ever or he's taking the piss out of me.
No, but you know what it is though, Jay? It is sort of, I talk to my phone and it's a habit I'm trying to break at the moment. I've gone back to adult education. So at the moment I'm trying to break out of talking to my phone and actually physically type. And you know how hard and difficult it is, not just picking your phone up, talking to it, but I made a massive mistake the other day. I said a word and it came out as a letter F. You know the rest of it, right? And I sent it to my boss. And my boss rang me and went, what are you telling me that to go do that for? And I went, what? I said, oh, sorry, I didn't mean. And I was like, you know what? Stop it.
Do you know what though? I'm worse. Big up Mr. B. You know I was only joking. Nothing but love for you, brother. I've seen him in the chat. I'm worse texting. We had a kid on work placement. And this sounds terrible, right? I can't believe I'm laughing. I'm sorry. But he's all right. He's a good kid. I know him. And he sent me a message saying that his nan had passed away and he couldn't come into work placement. And I sent him a message back. And I went to put an emoji of like a heart, but I put a laughing emoji. So I sent him a message back. And at the end of it was a laughing emoji. And I sent it and then I seen it. And I was like, oh my God. So I had to type like frantically again, bro, I'm really sorry. And he was laughing. He's like, oh, it's okay. I got his name. But I'm like, mate, I am worse when it comes to texting. Like I hate, and also, is he in the thing here? Talk loves a nice voice memo, doesn't he? He loves a voice note.
Tell me about it.
Do you know what? Like, and I love Talk. He's a top guy. He's got a top man accent, right? But I hate voice notes, right? Well, this is right. She goes mad at me because she loves a voice note. and she knows I don't like it. When she sends me, she knows by the time I've replied so quickly, I haven't listened to it because it takes longer to listen to it, and I've replied straight away with like a thumbs up. So I'm like, you haven't listened to that. So voice notes, man. They sometimes they burn me out, but I'm always grateful when Talk sends me.
I always go to the toilet or the bathroom to listen to a voice note because you never quite know people are going to stitch you up or say something stupid,
man. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could be with someone and they're going, do you know that Errol, man? Why'd you do videos with him, man? This guy's so he's such a loser. I can't believe you're still doing videos with him. Hey, and then you're sat with Errol on like the bus and you're like, oh my god, it's the wrong number.
And you know as well, when I do the thing is as well, every time I do sort of the video sort of prediction score, I always say to Jay, listen, I'm at work here. I have to be quick because I'm always wearing my suit when I'm doing it as well. So I'm just sitting there and I've got to be so quick.
I appreciate it, man. You know, you guys always thank me. Always like, oh, Jay, you come on the channel like that. But you guys always send us score predictions straight away whenever I ask you, even when you're working. I appreciate that, man. Do you know what I mean? And next season, I keep saying this, but next season, I'm going to be doing more content like this with you guys. Video stuff on Zoom and StreamYard and Skype and stuff. So get you guys on the channel more. We're going to be doing more preview stuff. We'll get you more involved because it's always good to have you on.
Brilliant,
just to say, Jay, it's summertime and this is our first summer. We don't know what to do. We're scratching around for things to do with the channel. So maybe you can give us some ideas after the show.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the thing with Manchester United in the summer. This is the meaty time for the transfer rumours. Everyone loves the transfer rumours, man. Do you know what I mean? It's what drives everyone crazy. You got Ten Hag in. He's already started having a sorry talk. I'll tell you what, I'm upsetting everyone here today. I do love you, Talk, and feel free to keep sending me voice memos. But what you call it, like everyone, like Ten Hag's he's already had a bit of a clear out. He's gonna buy a lot of players in as well. I think at least 3 or 4. So that's all gonna go. And I think, you know, there's a lot of people wanting to know who we're going to get. And also, you know, when I started doing this channel with you, what I like about you guys, you've got experience of playing at a decent level. And I think people like to hear your thoughts on players that we're linked with. Because, I don't know a lot about Frenkie de Jong. I don't know a lot about Jurrien Timber. I don't know about these guys. You know, I've seen bits of them. I've seen de Jong when he was at Ajax a little bit. I've seen him at Barca. I've seen him one game where he looked amazing. I've seen another game where he was anonymous. So when you guys, you know about these players and you've got a little bit of insight or a little bit of opinion, I'm keen to hear it myself, what you guys think.
Well, do we need to order some Parker jackets then and be reporting outside Old Trafford?
Listen, man, I was gonna say to you? I was gonna say, listen, Old Trafford's not big enough for the both of us, but I'm threatening you. I've seen you. I saw you are. If you want to come to Old Trafford, I'll be getting out of the way. If it was Mr. B, it's different.
Oh,
that's twice now.
Oh,
come
on,
sorry, Mr. B.
Mr. B isn't here to defend himself. Mr. B is partying, celebrating the Queen's Jubilee.
Fair play.
So, guys, 32 in the chat. If you're new to the channel, please give us a like, share, and subscribe. And first things first, we're going to be talking about is going to be Mr. Cristiano Ronaldo. So I don't know what you make of this though, Jay, but Ronaldo has endorsed basically Ten Hag, telling fans that we need to be very patient with him. Also, MUTV also urging all the fans to get behind Erik Ten Hag as well. So what do you think of that statement via Cristiano Ronaldo?
I listen, I can only speak for myself as a United fan. I don't think the problem will be for me giving Erik Ten Hag patience. I'll give him patience. I've seen the job that he's got. I've seen the levels of our rivals, like Liverpool, of Manchester City, to a lesser degree Chelsea. And I think, you know, he ain't going to fix that in 1 or 2 transfer windows. And I think anyone who expects that is kidding themselves. So I am prepared to be patient with him. My worry is this board, because we hear these noises. Oh, it's a new regime, and we're going to do this differently. There's backroom staff, and I see there has been a lot of changes. But this board, historically, are very trigger happy. If the wheels come off, you can be gone. They sacked Louis van Gaal the day he won the FA Cup because they'd already decided it. They sacked Jose Mourinho after he finished second previous season when the results started going against him. They sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when he finished second the previous season when the results started going against him. This is not a patient board. This is not a club that goes, you know what? Give it time. People keep going on about Fergie. How we gave Fergie time. Sorry, that was a bit of an outlier. That was a bit of a one-off. If you look at Atkinson when the results went against him, despite the fact he'd won 2 trophies. You know, if you want to get historic about it, Sexton got sacked when he'd won 7 games on the spin in his last season. Wilf McGuinness, Franco Farrell, you know, Docherty won the FA Cup, he only got sacked for different reasons other than football. But we have sacked a lot of managers, especially post-Fergie. You know, Moyes didn't even get a full season. So my concern is not the fans. I think the fans are patient. I think the fans at United get a bad rap. You know, you guys have seen it. You guys have backed managers. You guys have stuck by managers. It's the board that doesn't. It's the board that start going, let's pull the trigger. They do it time and time again. And I think that whilst I agree with what he's saying, I'm just hoping that the club give him patience and time because that's what he needs. I think he'll get it from the fans, but will he get it from the owners? Will he get it from the board? I'm not so sure. And he should do because this isn't going to be an overnight fix.
OMONDI?
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to disagree with Jay. I think some of the triggers come from the fans, and I think Ronnie is sending this message to the fans to say, look, I've come back, I've assessed the squad again, and we're not the team we used to be. So this is why we need patience. He's seen while he's been away that we've gone through managers. And the reason why these managers were getting sacked is because of the fans. We're impatient. I hear it all the time say we're the biggest club in the world and all this bravado about the club, but we're not winning games or we're not winning major trophies, the 2 major trophies that we really require, you know. And to get there, it takes a long time. So I think it's the fans that need to be educated about what to expect and what kind of process we need. And I think it's only when you're on your face that you would accept things. And I think this new manager coming in at the right time is good timing for him because he's coming at a time when we've come out of the Champions League with 6 or 7, where we finished in the season, you know, 0 goal difference, really poor performance. So we're on our face. So we're begging for someone to come in and do something good, you know. So I think it's the fans. Sometimes fans get impatient. We've seen it with Louis van Gaal. They were fed up with the style of football. We wanted some sort of, you know, they weren't used to the possession-based football. And that's a concern for me as well with under Ten Hag. The Dutch football is all based on possession. So if we start playing possession football, maybe getting a couple of draws or, you know, 1-0s, which I love, you know, will the fans be on their back and saying, "Oh, this is rubbish, it's boring"? You know, you go to the games more than me.
This is what I mean. No, I don't see that though. Like you say, the fans get on the back. Fans were cheering all his name right up until the death, right up until he got sacked. Fans were, you know, Louis van Gaal went in a press conference. He was like, "Louis van Gaal's army." Do you remember? He was saying,
yes, I do
"Go to the ground and they're singing my name." I was at the FA Cup final, literally his last game. The guy was getting his name sung. Like, I'm not saying all the fans have always backed all these managers. Jose Mourinho came back as a pundit and got a standing ovation. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think the fans do jump on these managers back. I think online it might be the case. You see a lot more grief online. And I think, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I sat there watching the 5-0 against Liverpool going, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, thank you, my brother. This is amazing. But I thought the fans on a whole, at least at the games where I was at, were backing him, were getting behind him. I think that on the whole of Manchester United, and you know, looking at when it's gone sort of south for managers, I don't necessarily agree that it's the fans that have led that. I think that you look at results and sort of with Moyes not getting into that top 4, I think was the trigger. I don't think that was even the fans, but the board obviously had a thing in mind where they were going, right, if we don't get top 4, that's it. With Louis van Gaal, I think when they knew Jose Mourinho was available, they made their mind up. And there was a time, you're right about, you know, as a fan, I don't think I wasn't booing or jeering Louis van Gaal or anything, but I was bored to tears. You're right about the football, it was shocking. But I think then he got to the end of the season, he had success, but the decision had already been made. The board had already made their decision. I just feel like for me, it's this is more of a board-led thing. And you're right, you know, like to a certain degree, in the sense of, especially online, I've seen a lot of people calling for. I remember after the 2-0 against Burnley, I went online when I got home, and loads of people were saying online about, get rid of Ole. He's got to go. It's time for him to go. Like, I thought, you know, this guy's gonna be done out here, and he turned it around. With, you know, Bruno came in, he had that massive run of games. But I think had they pulled the trigger after that Burnley result, I don't think too many people would have been surprised. Do you know what I mean? I think like they would have gone, okay, fair enough. And I think this time round it's slightly different because Ollie had obviously had a couple of transfer windows. We weren't as far, I think, away from the top 2 teams as we are now. I just feel like with Ten Hag that it might take him. You might have a season where you have a season where everything looks on, it's on the up, and then you have another season where, or another transfer window where it takes a little bit more time. I just want to see the patience from this board because for me, I always look, and it pains me to say, I look at Jurgen Klopp as an example. Jurgen Klopp's first couple of seasons at Liverpool weren't great. I think they finished below United. They lost 2 finals, lost the Europa League final, lost the League Cup final, then they lost the Champions League final. But I think once he got to the Champions League final, people started believing in him. And I think that it might take a little bit like that, where you give the guy 2 or even 3 seasons. I don't think he needs 5 or 6. I think that's a nonsense. But it might take a couple of seasons, if not 3, to get us back to the levels where we really want to be.
I think as well with it, as I said there, Jay, it's giving him the opportunity. The board need to sort of back him and stop panicking, rather than if certain results do not go our way, don't sit there all of a sudden and think we've got to now get rid of him. He was technically the fans' choice, and I believe he can be successful providing he gets the right backing and he gets his players in the club that he wants. Not the players that Man United or the board decide we want to go and get. He has to get what he wants. And I think that was the downfall for Jose Mourinho. I know a lot of people say, oh, he plays his like dinosaur football, it's dated or whatever. But I honestly think if Jose did get the players he was looking for, he would have built a good team for Manchester United, even though the football wasn't best pleasing on the eyes. And this is what the board now has got to realize is we can't keep sacking managers. It doesn't work. There is no success continuously sacking the manager. You've got to stick with Eric now. At least give him until his contract finishes before making a decision.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think so. I'd like to think he'll be given time, to build what he needs to build. I mean, we've seen it with all the players that are leaving or out of contract. There is an overhaul going on. You've got, is it 7 or 8 players, I think, going this summer, maybe more? I think there might be up to
10, I think.
Is it 10? Sorry.
10,
maybe 12.
Maybe 12. Well, there you go, man. You know what I mean? See, it's going to take a little while in it to do that. And also, you've got to look at where City are at. City are miles ahead of us and are buying Erling Haaland, have bought Erling Haaland. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a game changer. If that would be a game changer, if Arsenal got Erling Haaland, let alone City, who create so many chances and have got such a good team, we've just won the 4th title in 5 years, and then they go and get the best young striker, well, one of the best young strikers on the planet. You look at Liverpool. I was hoping that maybe they struggled to start replacing players. They've already started doing it. Kanati's come in. The kid Diaz has come in. Jota's, pretty much a regular now there. These are the sort of players that you're looking at the sort of next generation almost of to replacing some of the older players. So they look good for the money. So it is going to be an uphill struggle for Eric Ten Hag. And he hasn't got loads and loads of money to spend. He's got like a decent amount, but it's not like he's got, 300 or 400 million. I think, is it 120, 130 million or something? If he brings in players, he might get a little bit more. If he sells players, he might get a bit more. How many players is that going to bring in you? 3, maybe 4, 5 tops for about 30 million each. So you're going to have to buy younger players and get them ingrained into the Premier League, perhaps. So, yeah, I just think that I agree with what Ronnie's saying. I would give, I always err on the side of patience anyway myself. Do you know what I mean? I'm quite a patient person with players and managers and stuff. I don't, it runs out. I don't have a, do you know what I mean? I'm not still sat here going, give Martial another season or give Phil Jones another crack of the whip, whatever. But I tend to be more patient with players. And from my experience, I think a lot of with managers, I think a lot of fans will be up for that and will get it. I just keep going back to that idea. The question is, will the board do that? If, you can lose 3 or 4 games on the spin as a United manager and be in trouble. So it's just whether they stick with him as well.
Monday, any final?
I think it's the balance between who's the comment directed at. Maybe it is directed, as Jay's saying, at the board then, because I just think the fans have a lot of responsibility, because sometimes they start booing and just stirring up thing. We're such a big club, it will get noticed, I mean, look at Jay's channel, for example. If the atmosphere is really bad and negative, like it was under Ole towards the end, it just sends shockwaves around the country, and then they feel under pressure to press that button and say you're out.
It's a good point that I'm on day, because you know what, we got stick for sticking with Ollie of some people. Do you remember the Spurs 6-1? After that game, there was a few of us who reacted to that game and said, "Do you know what? Give him more time." Like,
was it Martial got sent off that game? It was
Martial got sent off.
Yeah.
It was a terrible game, a terrible result. And a couple of lads on the channel afterwards were like, "Listen, I'm not there on this Ollie out yet. I think he's already deserves time." And some people going mad, like, "You know what? You don't know what you're talking about," and all that. So you're right. I get that argument that some people get to that point and that's it. They just want a new manager. I understand that.
And the other thing as well for me, which I think is really key, is that because there's a huge difference in the style of football that he's going to be playing, I think the fans need to be patient and understand what they're watching. Like I said earlier, there might be some games where it might be stalemate and we might struggle to break teams down, but we have to persist with it. We can't get to November and say, "Oh God, this is terrible. We're not scoring enough goals," or we should have kept Ralph, or we should have kept Ollie. We always hear that. There's always indifference with football. Not everyone sees eye to eye. So I just hope the message, because Ronaldo's a big voice. He's how many followers on Instagram and everything else. I just hope when he speaks, people listen, and I hope that the fans. Maybe it's my hope that the fans listen, so we don't get to December, January, and then just break up this project, because you've got to have key performance indicators. And I think Erik ten Hag's not stupid. If he comes into the club, he's going to say, "All right, if you give me 2 windows, I will be in this sort of kind of position." And then they can assess it and say, "Well, you didn't meet your targets, you're out." I can understand that, but I feel he will. If he's given the right signings, and if he's identified them early now, and we get some good signings in, and which we're going to talk about later, and we do start playing, I think, like Liverpool, we will see that change immediately. With this pre-season he's got planned, he's got the whole of the summer now. I think we see a change immediately in the style of play and the possession-based football that we have more control. Our heart, will be a lot easy for fans. We won't be having heart attacks during the game, worrying about counter-attack on us and Maguire, under pressure all the time. I think if we start controlling games, there'll be a lot more ease around the club. It's just about then getting the right results, to take us forward. Because just my final point is this: I think we are so far behind the top 2. So if our expectation is to get major trophies straight away, I think that's just wrong. Ronaldo said something about getting trophies. I think he's talking about the minor trophies, League Cup and maybe the FA Cup, that sort of thing, or the Europa League. But we talk about major trophies, which is the Champions League and the League. That's going to take a lot longer than we expect. So I just think that to reach that sort of target, like Fergie, when he came in, he had Everton under Howard Kendall. He won a league, 2 leagues, Cup Winners' Cup he'd won. He had Liverpool. He had George Graham. Arsenal was just growing. There were some monsters back then, and they weren't even playing European football. That was hard. I thought we were well off them. But then in the second season, he came second. So we still got the base, the foundation to do something good. It's just about getting in amongst them, and most of all, just being patient, as Ronaldo says, with the club and with Eric's project.
It's a good point, because, yes, there's patience, but I don't want to sit here and go, we can't, like you said, challenge for top 4 or challenge for an FA Cup or a League Cup or a Europa League. We have got some very good players at Manchester United. Don't forget, I keep going back to that Burnley game because it was so pivotal. After that game, everyone was like, United are done, we're terrible. We finished 3rd, got to semi-finals. The next season, we got to finals. But my point isn't that, that's amazing, whatever. We bought one player in Bruno, and all of a sudden, we look like a different team. So if you brought in three good players and you've got a new manager this summer, then yeah, you can, there's no reason why you can't at least be challenging for top 4. And like you were saying there, Monday, trying to do bits in the so-called minor trophies. I just think in terms of league titles and getting into the Champions League and then challenging for the Champions League, at least challenging for the Champions League once we're in it, of course. Yeah, we have to exercise a little bit of patience there, definitely.
Yeah. And then again, Jay, another sort of question-ish I was going to ask as well. What sort of Ronaldo role be next season? He had enough influence to suggest where the team will need to improve?
I don't know. I mean, it's a weird one with Ronaldo, isn't it? Because on the one hand, he's just another player who's probably only going to be there for a year. He's probably going to go at the end of the season. But on the other hand, he is one of the biggest players in the world, one of the greatest players ever. So does he have a bit more sway? Does Erik ten Hag, value his opinion on anything, or does he, control sort of a few people in the dressing room? Do they listen to him? I'm not sure. I think that Ronaldo's not stupid. I think he understands football. I think he understands where he's at and where United are at. And I think he'll know that if Erik ten Hag is going to have any sort of success, he needs the players behind him. So I'm hoping that Ronaldo can take up a role of a sort of elder statesman in that squad. Don't know if he will, but I'm hoping he will. And just say, listen, guys, let's get behind this guy. Let's listen to him. I think the problem with Ralph Rangnick was always the interim bit. People were going. I mean, the guy got to United with a very ropey CV in terms of being a coach and a manager. No disrespect to him, but I remember doing a lot of videos when he arrived, and it was like, he won a cup with Hoffenheim. That was it. Do you know what I mean? Yes, he was renowned as gegenpress and all this stuff, and he was been around a long time. But it's different. Erik ten Hag's won a title at Ajax every single season, other than the COVID season. This is when he got there. They hadn't won anything for 4 years, or hadn't won a title, for 4 years. He's got a little bit more pedigree, and I think that people can buy into that. Certainly as a coach, anyway. I think Ralph Rangnick had a bigger reputation as a sort of overseer of football clubs. So I think Ronaldo's just got to say to the players and hopefully lead the way in saying, yeah, let's get behind this guy. Let's show him, what we're about. Ronaldo knows what it's like to play for Manchester United and be at the very top. He won the Ballon d'Or, he won the Champions League, he won titles at Manchester United. And I think that, he's got to sort of instill some of that into this team, because the mentality at United should always be to be the best, to challenge for the top, to try and strive, never take second best. On Monday, I think you mentioned him a few times. Brian Robson at one point was in a team that wasn't very good at Manchester United. I remember when I was a kid, United were in, all sorts of trouble. But Brian Robson was one of the best players in the world. And he consistently drove forward. He consistently drove the team. He didn't stand around going, oh, well, we're not very good. Don't worry about it. He was having none of it. And if you look at some of the results we got when we struggled, we still managed to beat Liverpool and play at teams like that who were winning titles, because you had someone like that who could drive you forward. And maybe Ronaldo's got to be, I'm not saying he's going to be a Brian Robson, but just have that mentality there to show the others, listen, I've won 5 Ballon d'Ors and 5 Champions League or whatever it is, and all the rest of it for a reason. And this is what we're about. Do you know what I mean? Because I think there's a bit of a lacking winning mentality in there. You look at those 6 away defeats, it just felt like almost like we give up in those games, and we've got to get rid of that.
Yeah, good one there. We're going to come back afterwards to this topic still. So on Monday,
one more point before you do.
On Monday's on it tonight, Jay. I told you, that is it. He's stirring the pot up.
Because there is some parallels between Brian Robson. To me, was a world-class player at Man United, and the same with Ronaldo. He's come back. He seems to love the club. And the thing is, when Alex Ferguson came in, he had to change the culture of the club, whether that's the drinking culture, whatever it was. The same thing applies now. The culture of the club has to change. So Robson stayed throughout that. Robson didn't go, even though he's one of the drinkers, maybe. He stayed until he won the league a few years later. So having that sort of elder statesman around is really important, maybe for Alex Ferguson. I'm sure maybe Alex Ferguson's, I don't know any quotes, but maybe he's mentioned this before about Robson keeping him around and the influence he had. I know they're talking in the comments about the 1991 Cup final, in Europe. That was Robson's probably his best game. And winning the league, he still played great. I've watched his documentary recently, and he was gutted he had to leave because he still had something to give. And even Roy Keane recently said he was one of the best players. He put him in the best players he played with, him and Ince in midfield, for example. So I think Ronaldo's still got a key role to play at the club, and I do compare that to Robson. And I think with the old guard leaving, so many players going from the club, keeping Ronaldo on board when he's got understanding of the past and now and recent last season and everything else, I think it's key. He will be really influential on the training ground and with Erik as well. And maybe, just maybe, because Ronaldo likes the goals, maybe he's had a word with Erik and saying, look, this is what I need. This is the kind of thing I need for me to get the best out of me as well.
Definitely, 100%.
On Monday, this part is for you now. Guys, 41 in the chat. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. On Monday, I'll take this one away from you. And guys, don't forget as well, you can become a member of the Man United Agenda. Tonight, on the Friday Night Takeaway, we'll have 3 members with on Monday. I'm going to be hosting on the Takeaway tonight because Mr. B, unfortunately, is celebrating the Queen's Jubilee.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, you don't get to see his face.
All right, making it sound like he's got something wrong with him, Mr. B. Unfortunately, He's come down with a bit of the old Jubilee. He's got that.
Yeah.
Tested
He's got
positive
Jubilee
for
fever.
Yeah, he's got a bit tested positive for Jubilee fever. We're hoping to have him back after the bank holiday. Hopefully, he'll be fully recovered. Can I just say as well, Talk? Did you see Talk's joke before in the chat? I think you need to sort of block this guy from the chat, man. I love Talk. What he said. I keep hearing that the Queen is doing something for Julie B, but who the F is Julie B?
Crusty.
Oh,
Typical.
God.
Anyway,
honestly, I nearly logged off.
We've got Matthew Bassett. By the way, Matthew Bassett's going to be on at 10 o'clock. It's his first debut. It's his debut tonight. It's going to be on with me. I'm looking forward to that, Matthew. See you later. Brush is in the house. How you doing, Brush? Brush made his debut last week. David, how you doing, David? So David, welcome. Talk to you, Jay. Jay Motti, a titan of United fans channels. That's a brilliant
lad, man. He knows. He got. I usually use that as an intro sometimes. So he obviously watches me. I always when I introduce people, I'll say like a titan of the United fan base.
Mohammed, how are you doing, Mohammed? Welcome to the channel. He said good evening to everybody. Vincent as well. I want to get to the nitty gritty now. Get to some real comments. Paddy in the house as well. Blue Moon, Ian. Let's get down to some really good comments here.
Hold on, before we do anything, Monday, I keep seeing this name flying up, so I need to do it. You know what name is going to come now, right? Ready? 3, 2, 1, ready?
Sue! Welcome, Sue. That's our first lady of the Man United agenda. And that's Sue.
And you got Emma in the building as well. Emma is here as well.
Sorry. So David's saying, anyone else annoyed that the club don't have a deal over the line yet? No urgency. I don't know if he's referring to...
I know he's referring to well, I think he could be talking about Darwin there. I think it could be.
Oh, okay, about transfers. Yeah, that's true. So Kim is saying, without doubt, we need to give Eric Ten Hag time. HD Gamer is saying De Jong is currently playing. He's got 95% accuracy against Belgium tonight, and there's another nice report about him. Bath Time saying all their managers were given ample time and went later than they should have. Talking about the previous managers we've had. AYK Ak
you got welcome.
Is in the house. How you doing? He says we need to announce some signings. We're too busy announcing one departure per day to maximize social media points. Viva Ronaldo says MUFC. Say hi to Tell. Is that 100%? He's saying. Bath say Louis Van Gaal's December can never be repeated. I know Bath means where the fans were going crazy. They were really disappointed with the form that month. I think it was a lot of draws, 0-0s, that kind of thing.
Is that the month we lost to Bournemouth, Stoke, and
you'll know it more than me. Yeah, I can't remember.
I think there was a bad spell. I can't remember the exact games.
So MUFC saying Bruno Fernandes has become a terrible footballer this season. Last night was embarrassing. Is that international duty? Matthew saying the board react to what the fans want.
Echoing your sentiments there, Monday.
Yeah, definitely. AYK Ak, again, I hope I'm not butchering your name, says Ten Hag's system requires technical fullbacks. Not sure we have that at the moment, he's saying.
That's good.
Bath Time saying about Klopp. Klopp's Liverpool always looked like they were moving forward. That was crucial in patience with him. And I do agree with it. I think they did. You could see initially there was changed their style of football. Hopefully we see the same. As we said earlier, Sue 82 is in the house. She says, "Yeah, Ten Hag has to be at the actual will." Yes, indeed. Question here from Bath Time: do you not think so, Lo? To give Ten Hag what he wants is just repeating the same mistakes, and a more cohesive transfer strategy like City and Liverpool is more sensible. That's a good point. He's directed.
I think have you seen the there was an article, I think James Ducker in the Telegraph was talking about the new structure and how it's going to look. And I think that I think it's John Mercer and Ten Hag both have to agree on a transfer for it to get signed off. So I don't know if that means, what difference that makes. I always felt with certain managers, we got players, especially under like Van Gaal, with certain players, like he didn't really want him. I don't think Jose wanted Fred. If you look at the noises he made, it was a bit weird as to who was deciding to bring these players in. I was a bit confused by it. So we'll have to wait and see whether there's a difference now.
Steve H, how you doing? He says 120 million, 130 million is an absolute joke. Would that be for Nunez, maybe he's talking about? Sue is saying, we do have money. Glazers got to have their dividends. Also sells players leaving, so they can generate a lot of money out of those. Emma Kay said, I just want other teams to be a bit nervous when they play us again. Those are the days. Yeah. Matthew Bassett saying the issue is we don't need to catch up to where Liverpool and City are, but where they're going to be. As they're improving again, it's only going to get harder to catch them up. Steve H is saying, for a club the size of Manchester United, how are fans accepting this? The commercial revenue from Ronaldo is disgusting. We are going to fall further down the league. I'm not being negative. I'm being a realist, he says. Just a couple more before we finish up here. Sue82 again. So if these players can't take the heat, they need to get out of the kitchen. This is Manchester United. Yes, Rome wasn't built in a day, true. But if they can't cut it, they know where the door is. Too weak. And just say hi to Witterbird as well. How you doing, Witterbird? And Vicky, sorry. It's Vicky. Yeah, of course. And that's your lot. Thank you.
We still got more. I've got another one for you.
Oh,
please
Dutch
pronounce
Christ.
his name. Please pronounce the proper name on Monday.
Billy Bob
Big
Job. I'm forgetting the name. Billy Bob. You know who it is. Dutch Christ now saying Ronaldo the GOAT has spoken. So we are mere mortals. Just listen. Yes. And Dismob's in the house is saying big up. Yes, lads.
Big up. Guys, if we haven't read your comments, we really apologize. There is literally so many to go through. But if you are new to the channel, 52 in the chat, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button, please. Now, remember, you can become a member as well. And at 10 o'clock tonight, you will have on Monday hosting the Friday night takeaway because Mr. B is unavailable. He's let the team down. I know he's watching, so I can say it. He's let the team down. So on Monday, he's got to step in for the next three Fridays now on Monday. You got to step in for?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible by Mr. B. So now,
I do it. It's my duty. It's my duty, Errol, and I just do it. I don't complain.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so the next one we are talking about Darwin. This is a merry-go-round at the moment, in my opinion. 1 minute it seems like we almost got him. Next minute we haven't got him. Next minute apparently there's a negotiation going. And today Luis Enrique have come out with a quote regarding. Let me read the quote. We Liverpool should go in for him. He's a top player who can become world-class on the club if they sell Mane. Now, is this a player that's going to fall through the net, or is it a play, Jay, you think we should get over the line? Because the way I look at it is, Man United can probably offer money right now to him, whatever money he wants, but Liverpool can offer trophies. Sad as to say it, how it is.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that. You could argue Liverpool can offer trophies. You could argue that. I don't know what the situation is with Liverpool. Is he likely to start for them? Are they going to throw him straight in? I don't know how is it going to work at United with Ronaldo there. What is the plan? And it depends on how you're selling it to him. You're going up to him and you're saying like, oh, I want you to play alongside Ronaldo, or I want you to be an understudy or whatever. And it's going to be a different conversation. We haven't got Champions League football, obviously. Liverpool have, or other teams have got that. But Manchester United is still a massive club. It's a massive draw. I was having this chat on the channel today, and it's easy to put us down and go, you know what, other clubs have got Champions League, other clubs are winning titles or whatever, and we're not. But you can still get good players. You can still get top draw players when you're in the Europa League if you're Manchester United. We got Zlatan in, we got Pogba in, we got Mkhitaryan in, who was wanted by a few clubs at the time in 2016, the summer of 2016, I think it was. So it's doable. We're still the biggest supported club in the land, biggest club in England. 70-odd thousand fans every week. You talk about the history, the stature of Manchester United, renowned worldwide. So, and also you've got this young managers coming in, and you're going to be part of something that's, like I hate using the word, but like that project. Yes, money's going to be a big factor, but I don't think we can just give up and go, oh, that's it. Liverpool want a player, or whoever wants a player, we can't get him. I just don't know a lot about this Nunez deal. I get personally better vibes from the Timber one. I think that's more likely. With Nunez, I know, I'm not seeing a lot of him. I know he's been banging him in for Benfica. It's something ridiculous. His goal scoring record there, and we do need a striker. I don't know how concrete the interest is for Manchester United and how likely we are to get him, even without the Liverpool interest. So this for me, I put this sort of slightly down the pecking order of transfers that I expect. I think the Timber one, I think, is the most likely. Then perhaps De Jong. There seems to be a real interest there and a real desire from Erik ten Hag to try and get De Jong over the line. And then Nunez is one that keeps getting thrown about and you can see why because of his record. But I don't know how likely it is. I think there's, for me, I wouldn't be surprised if he went anywhere. To be honest with you.
I'm on there with it as well because obviously with the price tag as well, it's keep thrown over the place. I think originally it was about between 63 and 65 million euros, and from that it moved to almost like 100 million, 125 million. So I sort of like what Jay said. I don't know what's going on with the negotiation with it, but I know you sort of said something about he came from another club and there's something to do. Was it you that recently said he was coming from another club?
Yeah, he came from a Spanish club, and there's always a sell-on fee as well. So Benfica want to maximise the price, don't they? Clearly, because they have to give a percentage of the sell-on fee to Almeria, I think it is one of the clubs there in the Spanish league, or wherever. I can't even remember where he came from. But there's one thing's key for me here.
No, you're right.
I like him. I think he's a top player, and I think as that you made a great quote there from the Liverpool guy saying that he will develop into a world-class player, and I do see those attributes there with him. He's clearly very, very good. One thing, like we've been scouting from him for over a year, and even though the scouts, Jim Lawler, whoever it was before, they've left the club. I do think like the main scout is our manager because they played against Benfica in the round of 16 and they Ajax did and they got knocked out. I think it was they lost 1-0 at home and then I think they drew 2-2 at Benfica. And guess who scored? Guess who scored? One of the goals, was this is what we say. It's ironic, really. One of the goals. This is Nunez. He's 6'2", good striker, good movement, everything else. One of the goals was a free kick, which is almost by the corner spot, and it crossed in, and Nunez was being marked by Timber, and he towered over him, and he just had to stand still and just head it in, And this is Timber. We come into the Premiership playing against teams like I was going to say Burnley, but that's not going to be Burnley anymore. Let's say Newcastle because they stole Burnley's big striker, So when we're looking at Timber as well, I was watching the highlights and I was thinking, oh my God, that's Timber. That's the guy everyone's raving about. Good at interceptions, good at small. By the way, we looked at Alaba the other day. He's tiny as a centre back, but he done really well. So I understand the height's not everything, But Nunez, obviously, he scored against Ajax, and this is in front of Ten Hag. So if Ten Hag's come along and said, right, what's the scouting list? Who you got on mind? And they said Nunez, he'd say, yeah, I like this guy because we played against him. I've seen him.
That could be the same clock on it because he scored 3 against them, didn't he?
Exactly. Right. Well, the three goals were all offside apparently at the game now, weren't they? It was just offside, but the movement was great. So for my opinion, I think we should strike early because Klopp's seen him and Klopp knows a player and he can understand. And this guy is not a direct striker. When he played against Ajax and when he was playing off the left.
Yeah, he can play left forward.
He was playing off the left, yeah. So he's very versatile. He's got good movement. I've heard people say he ain't got a touch or his touch is no good. I don't see that at all. I think, how's your touch? People saying this, how's your touch? Let me boot you a ball in the air and see how you bring it down, These are professional players. So I like Nunez and I think we should strike. If we can get it for about 70 mil, because Benfica, Benfica do want to let him go. And I think we should be going in for him because we definitely need goals. We need a striker to support, another forward to support Ronaldo. That's a fact if you look at what we've got left.
And with that as well, Jay, because I think we had a conversation, me and OMONDI, quite a while back regarding Timber as well. We're talking about Nunez and getting but OMONDI did say he's very small because I don't know much about Timber. I'm gonna probably put my hands up and say I literally don't know too much about him. I don't really watch the Ajax play football, to be honest with you. It's only since we know about the Ten Hag coming in that's when I literally start watching a few clips, learning the system, learning the style he plays as well. But looking at Timber, how tall is he again? OMONDI? He's like 5 foot what?
He's not 6 foot.
He's not 6 foot for thingy. So I think there, Jay, you'd be all right as well going up against him, wouldn't you? I don't know about Mr. B though.
I was about to say, the kid could be 6'7" and OMONDI would be like, he's too small. Yeah, no, I've heard this, and I don't listen. I'm not going to pretend I know a lot about Timber. I know, obviously, what he's won. I've seen him a few times. It just seems from the noises that you're hearing that like there's a real interest there, and that deal could be done. So there's obviously Ten Hag rates him. Whether Ten Hag's maybe underestimating what it's like in the Premier League, I don't know. I think that if it does happen, you just got to trust the manager, knows what he wants him for and thinks he can do a job in the Premier League. Am I right in thinking on Monday he can play on as a fullback as well?
Yes, he can.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a factor. I don't know.
Could it be a factor though? Because obviously we got Wan-Bissaka leaving as well. We're saying he's leaving. I think we should probably. I'm coming off topic now, but I still think we should give Wan-Bissaka at least a season under Ten Hag. But if Ten Hag don't see him as the right man for the job, then we got to back Ten Hag, as I keep saying it is. But yeah, he can play on that side as well.
I mean, I think the one thing with Wan-Bissaka as well, there's talk again. I'm just going off a lot of reports and stuff that I read that United could get some money for him. Like I saw one report, I think saying 25-30 million. I don't know if that comes into the equation where you think that's money that we could reinvest somewhere else that Ten Hag would prefer to. There was a report this week that Delo, he quite likes to look at Delo. So maybe if he thinks he could get 30 million or 25 million for Wan-Bissaka and he likes Delo and he wants to bring in someone else, that'll be business that he's happy with. I feel like with Wan-Bissaka, his first season I thought was a positive one. It wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it was a positive one. And then it just seems to be in more and more decline, both on and off the pitch. I don't think things have been great for him. And I just feel like, with Wan-Bissaka, it might get to the point now where a move is best for him and the club.
Okay. So Monday,
let me just add to that. I think with Wan-Bissaka, I mean, words coming out, Jay, you'll know more than me, that Man United going to let him leave. And so I think some players get a pre-season with Ten Hag and say, all right, come to the pre-season, I can assess you, and then I decide what to do with you later. And I think for them to be saying Wan-Bissaka can leave already, is that because Ralph's given him a handover report to say he's not good enough? Is there something about his character that they've looked at already? How would Ten Hag know? He could have let go of Jem, as far as he knows. He doesn't know. So for him not to get that opportunity to shine in front of the manager, I think there's something, it's dread for him. I think it's over for Wan-Bissaka at the club.
Yeah. The thing with that, though, Amanda, obviously, that's just reports that's leading out at the moment with us. There's so many reports coming out. 1 minute we don't want this player, next minute we don't need him. I honestly think he could fit in the Ten Hag system. But again, as I said, it all depends on what Ten Hag would like to do with the player. And like what Jay just said about freeing up a bit of money as well, is that part of the reason? Because does he have to sell players to basically be able to bring players in? That's another spin on it, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got a budget, but I think again, these are just reports that I'm reading. I'm not ITK by any stretch. That if he sells players, that money will go straight into the transfer kit. I mean, you might not trust the Glazers with that idea. I know, it's not like they're the most trustworthy people when it comes to not taking money out of Manchester United. But if he has been told you sell some players, you can use that money towards other players, then maybe he looks at Wan-Bissaka and thinks, I'd rather have the money I'd get from you and put it back into a different defender. Kind of makes sense for me. But you're right on Monday. I mean, if he's not even willing to give the kid pre-season, sounds like his mind's already made up, which is maybe it's a little bit surprising. I don't know how much he'd have seen of Wan-Bissaka. He's had people looking at him or listening to Ralph Rangnick. I'm not so sure. Because, Wan-Bissaka's like, he's 24, I think.
Yeah, 24 years old, yeah.
Oh, you know what I mean? Like, you might argue he's still got a bit to offer, but it's just been like I said earlier, on and off the pitch. I think for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, the last 12 months have been a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah.
Can I just add as well, like someone who will be getting a look in is James Garner, for example. And I was watching him earlier. They beat Czech Republic in the Euro qualifiers for the under-21s, 2-1 it was. And James Garner played really well. And they had Max Aarons in there. We spoke about him recently.
Yes.
He was playing right back. And the goalkeeper for the Czech Republic was our goalkeeper.
Is it Kova?
Kova. Butchering his name, but he looked pretty decent as well, tall and slender, but good hands, from what I could tell. So there's so many things to assess. But I think Garner gets an opportunity. Granted, he deserves it, but just surprised with Wan-Bissaka just getting the no.
Guys, 51 in the chat. Just hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe. So we've only got 34 likes and 48 watching. Come on, guys. You know what to do. Hit that like. On Monday, some of these comments, please, regarding the last subject. Gone.
So the last subject was Nunez, but
Nunez,
we moved
yeah.
on to Timber. So officially, Olakunle said he's 5'10", so he's not quite 6 foot. Halftime saying the goal OMONDI talking about was incredibly concerning if we do get to Timber. I agree 100% with that. Looked like a 6-year-old in an under-12s match, yeah, with his defending from.
Can I ask you guys a question? Have you guys seen that kid on social media? He plays for under 13. It's under 13 kids, and most of the kids in it was what, about 4 foot, say less than 4'5" or something like that. And he's 6'7", and he's only 13 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, 13-year-old.
Monday, do you know this kid?
I knew that was coming. Is this a skip jump? Is this like a? Did you set him up for that joke?
Yeah.
You guys texted before the show. That was such a setup.
You must be very proud of Monday. You must be very proud he's doing so well.
Good one. I'll take that one. Well done. Going back to Nunez, HD Gamer saying Nunez scored versus Ajax, knocked them out. Ten Hag was moved by him that day. Sue's saying, where are we getting these little gems? Sorry, where are these little gems going for? All overpriced, obvious signings. All overpriced, obvious signings. Oh, we're looking for little gems, she's saying. Rather than
it's a good point. It's a bit of a bugbear of mine. We haven't done that a lot recently, if at all, since post-Fergie. How many gems have we actually signed? Do you know what I mean? Like, how many times would you say Manchester United went out there, post Alex Ferguson, and got a player that wasn't well known or wasn't, big money, a little hidden gem? Not many. I can't think of any off the top of my head. Maybe you could argue.
We haven't. There's none.
Yeah, like Palestro, Diallo might come good, but I don't think there's anyone where you go, oh, I've never heard of him, or don't know a lot about him, or that was a bargain. It's always been like pretty much the obvious big signings. Nothing wrong with that. Fergie did that a lot of the time, but he also went and got players that were a little bit under the radar, and I feel like our scouting hasn't done that recently, so maybe it's something we need to improve on.
Just a final comment here from DQ, because everyone's talking about Timber. We want to talk about Nunez. DQ saying, great. Nunez preferred by Liverpool now. Ha, ha, ha. We know how that's going to end. So should we strike before these other clubs start coming in with seeming more attractive for him?
Maybe you can sell it to him if you really want him. Maybe you can sell, I mean, like, when City got all the money, I know they had a lot of money, but they went and got a lot of players like Yaya Toure and David Silva and Sergio Aguero, and other clubs were looking at him. Yes, money's a big factor, but you also have to sell it to them. Like, come to this club and there's a reason to come here, not just money. You're going to be involved in things, you're going to win things, you're going to challenge things. We're going to build a team like that suits you or whatever. So if you can do something like that, maybe you've got a fighting chance. Like I said earlier, I wouldn't just give up on the idea of getting Darwin Nunez if we actually want him, just because Liverpool are in for him. I know it's not going to be easy, but you can still get players that Liverpool want. You just got to, you've got to try and fight your corner. So I'll have to wait and see. I'll just have to wait. It just remains to be seen how concretely the interest is in him.
Yeah. And finally, guys, let's again, 48 watching. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you're not new, hit the like button. We've only got 35 likes or something like that. So come on, guys, support the channel and hit that like button. We are going to talk about a couple of things now. Quick one, Jay, just as a roundup. Pogba, sad to see him leave?
Not really, no. As I think, I like Paul Pogba. I used to watch him in the academy team. So I went to the final against Sheffield United when he helped win it in 2011. One of the standout players there, him and Ravel, were the two players that I always like to watch. And I had a bit of a soft spot for Ryan Tunnicliffe as well. But when he came back, I was pleased we got him. Phenomenal player. And I think he has had some good moments, had some good spells. Just not been consistent enough. And yes, you can argue that at times he's not had the players around him as well, and he's been moved around and this, that, and the other. But on the whole, I just don't think it's worked out, and I don't think it was going to work out. And I think it's probably better for everyone if he moves on. And it is a bit of a shame because, you look at when Paul Pogba was on form and when he was doing his business, he was a fantastic footballer to watch. He really was, I really enjoyed watching him at times. But the injuries, some of the bigger games as well, I think, he turned up in the 2017 Europa League final, not so much in the 2021 one, not so much in the 2018 FA Cup final. I think that's a game we could have done with him a bit better. And it's just one of those where you just think the expectation outweighed the results, really. So, yeah, I've not got any animosity towards Paul Pogba. I've seen people sort of hating on him and that. I'm not really there. Yes, his agent was a bit of a pain in terms of what he's come out with. Yes, Pogba himself came out 1 or 2 comments when he's away with France that probably weren't great. But on the whole, it was just unfortunate it didn't work out, and we move on from it. And it'll be weird not talking about Paul Nabil Pogba for once, because I feel like I've been talking about him for about 11 years.
Oh, great. Guys, in the comments, will Pogba be a miss as well? Put a 1 if it's a yes and a 2 if it's a no. Get involved. I love this game I play. I love this game. And Jay, I'm gonna before we end the show, I've got to talk about my guy. And you know who I'm coming with, right? Fred. Did you see his assist? Did you see? Did you see his assist for Brazil?
No, it was a shot, wasn't it? A misplaced shot.
Misplaced shot? Oh, come on. Oh, really?
I haven't even seen it. No, was it good?
Oh, it was good.
Tell me about it, man. Was it good?
So it's almost like they had this like little interplay, and it's Fred got the ball on the left-hand side, and it's almost like he dropped his shoulder down and went past the player. Then he sort of cut into the box and then passed a beautiful ball to Richarlison, who slots it away.
Who was it against? Who were they playing?
Was it against? I think it was against. Was it Korea or something like that? I can't remember, but it doesn't matter anyway. It was a great. I thought I'd bring it in.
Them footballing giants.
Yes, that's the one. It was 5-0 as well. Neymar got 2 goals, so he's very close to getting Pele's record.
Listen, Fred's one of the few players, not the only one of the few players that kind of did okay last season. He emerged with a bit of credit, I thought, Fred. So, if he's given a chance to Ten Hag, who knows? I've not been his biggest fan, but I've certainly not been his fiercest critic either. And I think last season he was better than a lot of his teammates. I'll give you that.
Yeah. And at bath time, I would be very sad. I would be, because he's very injury prone, and Fred isn't. Fred don't get injured that often. So, now, of course, we need a better sort of thing. So on Monday, would you like to go through my 1s and my 2s? It seems like a lot of people.
You love your 1s and 2s.
Yeah, no, I love doing it.
Talk is saying 2. That means no. They're not. They are happy he's leaving, I imagine. Jumpers looking fire. Can we just give them a little? Yeah, nice. There's more to come, guys. More to come with the hoodies and that. If you want them, just give us a shout.
DM us.
Steve H is saying 1, which means what? He's upset.
Wow. He's upset. Yeah.
Okay. Vincent 2.
What's this 1s and 2s things? What are you on about?
So about 1 is Pogba.
Yeah, what's it mean? Sorry, what's the
So 1 means he upset he's leaving. 2 means let him go.
Okay.
So there's mainly 2s anyway.
Let him go. Let him go. Yeah. On Monday, your favorite part of the show.
Any other business? Yeah, the only other business I want to say.
This is a new one.
This is my point. I said earlier in the show about fans being patient. Ronaldo said it as well, and we had a big conversation about it. So I think what we've done in the Man United agenda, we've started to sort of research Ajax Football Club, research Ten Hag, and I've got your book here, Errol. By the way, you're gonna have to come and pick it up. Two of them come in the post
tomorrow.
It's Eric Ten Hag, the story so far, or whatever, and it's all about tactical style of what he's been doing at Ajax mainly. So hopefully we might learn something and be able to bring it to the channel, because to be honest, it's hard, isn't it, when someone comes from a different nation and we don't know much about him. We really have to do our research. So I think we need to be the go-to channel for Eric Ten Hag. By the start of the season, I want to call you. Can have my number, Jay. You can call me if you need any information on Ten Hag.
You're doing that 3-hour special, aren't you, on our channel at the start of the season?
Yeah.
Monday every week for 3 hours on a Monday from 8 till 11. It's going to be a Monday telling you all about Eric Ten Hag and his Ajax.
And I'm waiting for the transcript from Errol once he finishes his course.
I was going to give you a piece of paper with like 3 words on it.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. That's it. That's it. Oh, brilliant.
But I don't have any other business apart from have a nice weekend.
Are they good, then, books? What books?
I've just picked them up today. Just came in the post today.
What's it called? Because you sort of said Eric Ten Hag, the story so far, but I don't know if you made that one.
That's my version, but it's called Eric, the Modern Manager, Eric Ten Hag. And you can see him there with his fist up.
Okay, you're gonna give us a little bit of a review on that then next time I'm on.
I will, yeah. So come back next week. Make sure you tune in, and I'll give you a little review of the book once I've read it.
because we had a Ralph Ragnick book in the studio that's terrible.
Really?
Terrible.
God. Did you actually read it though?
Yeah, I read a lot of it. It's not even got an author on it. It's literally not got an author on it, right? Next time I'm on, I'll show it you and I'll read you an extract. You know the bit on the back? Even the bit on the back didn't make any sense. It was like someone had put it in Google Translate and it come out wrong. Honestly, I need to show you this book. Like, but hopefully the Eric Ten Hag one's better because the Ragnick one we had was just unreal.
Is that like my text message when I send them to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey Joe, can you come out tonight? Big fan of you guys. Everyone else at Stretty News.
And then what is this one? Right on Monday.
That's Vic said right there. It was terrible. The writing cut up at the top of the page. Yeah, like it was like it was squashed at the top. It was so bad. I need to bring it in. Let's have one, right? Remind me. I'll bring that.
Please do.
And I'll read some extracts from it. It's like, I don't hate on authors, right? But there's no author to hate on because they didn't put anyone's name in it. It's just like, it's not an author. It's just like, they just thought, oh, he's gone to United. Quick, get a book out. It was shocking.
In car boot sales right now.
Yes.
10 pence.
That's overpaying, trust me.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. Oh, wow. Guys, thanks to everyone who's watched today. Thanks to everyone who watched, liked, share, and subscribe. And Jay, we always do this to you. We always put you on the spot anyway.
You know the dance with me. If you come over from Stretford Paddock, make sure you subscribe into United Agenda. I think over 2,000 subscribers now, smashing it. Always have a good laugh. Always love seeing these guys. And they're going to be on the channel a lot more as well moving forward. In Stretford Paddock, we're going to get Solo and OMONDI, Talk, Mr. B, all the guys on there as well. And they always come on here because we always have a laugh and a bit of analysis and a bit of a giggle as well. Even when United have been terrible, I've always had a buzz when I come on here. So make sure you subscribe into the Man United Agenda.
Thank you. And you know what as well? I think Mr. B probably sitting there now getting a tissue paper out of crime because he went here tonight to, to represent.
Rather celebrate the Queen's Jubilee than come and chat with us. Calls himself dedicated to this channel. He's lucky he's not been sacked.
Yeah, need firing. But now, guys, from us, we really appreciate all the help, all the support and everything. Thanks to the chat, the comments and everything tonight, guys. And Jay, appreciate you coming on as always and being part of the Agenda family.
It's been a laugh, and it's a lot. I mean, we're always happy on here when I'm on here, but we're even happier now we've not had to talk about a defeat, which is like the last 8 times I've been on here. We've just lost the day before, and I'm like, oh yeah, Brighton did us 4-0. It was horrible. But so yeah, it's been a little bit more optimistic, and hopefully, we can move forward now.
The way I look at it, Jay, we haven't lost any points so far.
This is it. And Fred's even getting assists. It's all happening, man. What more can you ask for? Do you know what I mean? And Monday's boys. Yeah, and Monday's boys smashing it for that under 13 side as well.
Absolutely.
That was a blatant stitch up, guys. I know it.
I didn't know anything about it.
Don't look at me. Not my fault.
He's going to go on that picnic tomorrow. He's going to have some explaining to do. What's this about? You didn't tell me you had a lad playing for this football team. You never mentioned this.
Oh, 13 and he's 6 foot. Yeah, it's crazy when I saw him stand up next to the little boy, man. It was.
You remember seeing Lukaku when he was playing like under 13s and he was the same height and weight as he was now. As he is now. Yeah. It's like that.
Imagine marking him when you're 12.
I know.
No wonder he made it professional.
You know what I mean?
Oh, guys, from us at the Man United Agenda, we'll see you at 10 p.m. tonight with OMONDI. We'll be hosting the Friday night takeaway, and he will have, I believe, Matthew Bassett, Stephen Fletcher, Thomas, and TalkMU. So, guys, make sure you tune in at 10 p.m. as well on that channel, on the same channel, but on the other show. From us tonight at the Agenda, though, this has been Solo, OMONDI, and Jay. Good night.